Hello, 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 everyone. Can you all hear me? I'm using a new headset here. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. So, we are going live. So let me check some here. Yeah, this is sort of an impromptu one. I was toying with it. I haven't done a live stream in a while, and I thought, you know what? It's near the end of the year. That's um, that's do one just for the heck of it. A nice way to wrap up the year. It's been a hell of a year. Just gonna do something here. I'm using a different headset, so I want to make sure I can actually. Oh, looks like I can hear myself. That's good. Um, so yeah, that's something. But yeah, so kind of an impromptu. Decided at last minute. You know what? I feel like doing a live stream. Um, it's one of the things I haven't really broken back into this year. One of those things that I wanted to work on, but I just never had the time. I wanted to make it flashier, better. That's still the goal. Um, just haven't gotten there yet. That's still something I want to do, but just haven't had a chance to. I'm actually in my little dungeon here. I got all my can't see, but I got all my 40K and hobby stuff over here. It's where I shoot a lot of my videos now. It's better than anywhere else. Lighting is actually better here than where I was shooting beforehand upstairs. But yeah, it's been a year, hasn't it? Where a lot of in the real world, there's lots of uncertainty, lots of fear, a lot of not good stuff. And I know I, for one, am happy to have the hobby to get back into, to dive into, to sort of give me that a little break from all the shenanigans of the real world. I think a lot of you guys feel the same way. So definitely one of the things that I'll continue to dive into more, hopefully more than less in the dropping stuff in the new year in 2025. I got to clean up this hobby area. It's a mess. It's a mess. Um, but yeah, hopefully so far. I mean, it's the 21st of December. Christmas is short days away. Um, we're still trying to get some Christmas shopping done. The tree is up. The house is decorated. The kids are super excited, and that always brings a smile to my face. Um, Actually, this year I've been doing the kids always every year do calendars. I've been doing a cool advent calendar. We picked up at Costco of all places for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So it's a nice big box, and the front opens up, and there's the Griswold house. If you haven't seen Christmas Vacation, watch it. You got to watch it. And the front folds down, and there's a display area, and there's some parts of the cardboard that fold up. There's a squirrel, a snowman. Uh, what else? There's a squirrel, the snowman. There's a present with their Aunt Bethany's cat with the arm coming out, and the garbage pile, including the sled that the car that the Griswold slides on. And so each one, it's actually numeric, so I'm not jumping all over the place. But each one is something different from the movie. So I've got the Griswold family, there's some of the relatives, Snots, um, two of the what is it, Wally World glasses he drinks the eggnog out of. Uncle Eddie's RV is there. Um, Frost and Fist, my brother, welcome. What else do I have? There's a bunch of stuff. There's a squirrel, Snots, Uncle Eddie's dog. And right now I've gotten, let's see, the Jelly of the Month Club thing that Griswold gets. And then now I've gotten four of the animated cartoony reindeer that at the beginning of in the intro to the movie. So I'm assuming at some point over the next 3 days, 22nd, 23rd, yeah, I'll get another maybe couple reindeer and then Santa, and I'll string them all together. And it's one that next year I can just pull everything out and display. It's a lot of fun. So that's been that's been my little bit of fun every morning. The kids are chowing down on chocolate, and I'm pulling out little characters and trying to stand them up. Some of them stand, some of them don't. It's okay. Um, but yeah, so again, like I said, sort of off the cuff one here. I don't have anything really planned, but it's been a fun year. I did a lot of what I wanted to do. Um, Not as much of other stuff as that I wanted to, but it's the way the cookie crumbles. Um, I did a video, what to do next, where it's kind of like laying out the mission statement of the channel. So I want to collaborate more, and it was cool. I did collaborate with Idig Beer, which is a ton of fun. I had Baltimore do some of the narration stuff for that for the Ultramarines versus Black Legion solo battle I did, which was still to this day blows my mind. And I am super happy he got his channel back. I know it was taken away there for a while. I'm glad he got it back. He's definitely a massive boon to the community as a whole. With just his videos are amazing. I love watching them. Turn them on when I'm painting when I get to paint. Um, I did a couple more of those solo battles. I had my Halloween one, the poor Mobian 21st. Um, it was super cool of him. Yeah, I complete shock. We said, "Hey, I'll do one for you." I'm like, What? No, no, you don't. No, but he did, and it was still amazing, absolutely amazing. Yes, the Mobian 21st guy who didn't quite make it to the end, almost made it. Almost made it. Was dragged down by the Poxwalkers, and I just did my Christmas one not too long ago, which is a lot of fun to do, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Um, yeah, it was a bit weird because I had to do the battle report, and I was trying to balance the the little sort of ah you know, 'twas the night before Christmas storytelling with some rhymes to go with his pictures, and then I it took me a while to shoot because I'm like, do I want to roll dice? Do I not want to roll dice? Do like on screen, obviously I have to roll dice playing the game, but do I show it on screen or is that gonna like make the video too long? Um, how many rules do I actually follow through there? Obviously the main rules, but am I gonna start using stratagems or just sort of the army rules? And so there was a lot going in there. I actually did some practice games as well, trying to see what worked and what didn't. If there was too much, because then that just sort of bogs down something. You want it to flow. Um, I really enjoyed the Christmas one I did. Oh, thank you. That was sort of the point. I was just trying to have some fun with it, right? I hope you enjoyed it, Mythos. I really did. I really do. Um, but there's a lot to work out there, and I was also printing out 3D printing some terrain, trying to put together a sort of twist ending. If you haven't seen it yet, please go. And I don't want to spoil it for you because it's a lot of fun. But it was trying to set up the battlefield. I was 3D printing some terrain. I've done a lot of that this year. A lot of 3D printing here, which has been absolutely amazingly fun. Um, it I believe I did a video and I can't remember right now, but yeah, that's definitely the future of this hobby, or at least a possible line for this select parts of this hobby to go down in the future. Um, but yeah, also got a whole bunch of stuff painted up. I got Reavers done at the beginning of the year. I got a Reaver lieutenant or lieutenant. I keep saying lieutenant. It's all this American speak. It's lieutenant, lieutenant. Um, I got him done up, which is really cool. And Reavers are actually really awesome now. The last big balance stuff they did fixed lots of stuff for Space Marines. And oh my God, there's still stuff I'm discovering. Intercessors are nasty now. If you've not there's no F in the word. Man, it's the English language, okay? The what can I say about the English language? It's like several different languages, like the Romantic language, some Germanic language, and you know, Italians in there, French is there. They got together one day, had a little too much wine, things happened, and then 9 months later it came English. Just a combination of what the hell. That's all I'm saying. We are a weird language. Just a very weird language, right? Right. It's just there's lots of yeah, English is a just a weird language, man. But being Canadian, I have to speak the King's English, so it's lieutenant, right? Lieutenant. And but yeah, it was the Space Marines are just freaking awesome right now. All the cool changes. I'm not going to go through all because there's so many. I'm still finding them. Of course, got everyone's favorite Lieutenant Titus all done up. I picked up the Space Marine 2 recruit starter set. Of course, I had to get Titus done. Um, he is super badass in the game. Um, and that's just such an amazing game. I mean, I haven't actually had a chance to play it yet. Don't have a PlayStation 5, but of course, I've seen all the cutscenes and a lot of the gameplay action. It just looks amazing, and there's some atypical, spot on Space Marine uh, just action there. Titus and the Marines holding that mound with the company standard, the second company. It's epic. I'm hoping a new buff to intercessors help them. Oh, they will, man. Gee, if you what is it? Pick a target now, and if they all fire at the same target, each person gets four. Each marine gets 4 shots. I'm sorry, 10 of them. That's 40 shots. Even if you just take the small squad of 5, that's 20 shots. You're wrecking stuff. You are wrecking stuff with that now, and it's good. It's as it should be. They're supposed to be there laying down a lot of firepower. That's what they're supposed to do. So I love that new rule. Yeah, lots of cool stuff happening. Um, but yeah, I had to get Titus done. I picked up this set because it's just awesome. It's an awesome set. And the rules very very simple, very easy to follow, and they are it's definitely designed. I said this when I first did the cover of it, covered it. It is designed to get people who've played the game, the video game, easily into 40K. The rules are very simple. They've taken a lot of rolls out. It's very basic. You just hit and armor saves. That's it. Um, and they take in the whole rage thing that he has because he's a big rage ball, and he can actually heal as he goes on, right? As you do in the game. Uh, Yeah, and of course the secret level stuff, that Amazon show with that episode, the Space Marine episode, and they shall know no fear. That was just, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It is amazing. Lieutenant Titus is in it, Blade Guard, and it, excuse me, and it totally just captures the what how Space Marines fight. It's efficient, it's brutal, it's epic, and wow, just another. It takes his badassery to a whole other badass level, right? Like it's just amazing. And I know the Games Workshop also put up on their community page the whole history of Lieutenant Titus because it was out in they presented a White Dwarf. It's really I mean I haven't played the game. I might be wrong, but from everything I've seen, it's not really covered in the game. Um, but they did have a big article up on White Dwarf, and it's on the website as well. Really goes into what exactly happened um, between Space Marine 1 and Space Marine 2, which is really cool. Yeah, I think that buff's gonna help you though, Mythos. I think it's really gonna help. So yeah, so I've done that. And recently, just recently, I mean, yeah, what else did I do this year? I painted up some terrain. I'm trying to look around. Yeah, painted up terrain for the for both of the solo battle reports. I painted up some. Someone actually made some beautiful walls to go with this because the mat in here does have walls on it. Laser magma. But they're just like lines printed into the mat that they give you. That this is a wall, you can't see through it. Someone actually printed some walls, which are amazing. They have imperial symbols, ultramarine symbols, which is goes fine with it. Um, but I printed off another building to go for the latest battle or the solo battle, and I don't want to ruin the ending, but I printed off some 3D print presents as well for the mysterious gift giver in the battle report. Of course, I'm looking at it right now. I was goofing around one day and I decided to print off some bases here. I know these are hard to see. some cool bases, 40 millimeter bases of Fallout stuff. So I've got one. This one here was for the Yao Guai, so just some rocks and some wood. It's hard to see there. Sorry, some wood up there and some rocks. And this one is called the Brahmin one. It just looks like a road path there. Some rocks on one side, and the other, and a discarded tire. The type of stuff that you walk by playing Fallout 4 76 over millions of times all the time. And, so those are really easy paint up, just a nice little dry brush on the rock, and then, of course, the dirt and this piece of wood here. That was also applied some Agrax Earthshade on some brown, and then dry brushed up with some lighter ones to get a nice base. The same with this one. It's a bit darker, but same thing. Just a nice, uh, you know, earthen trodden pathway. Of course, I got a Yao Guai painted up here. Um, It's kinda disturbing painting a animal that should have fur with no fur, but I just did a couple of dry brushes of flesh tones, Agrax Earthshade wash, and then and then some dry brushing again. Picked up the teeth and the tongue there and the claws, and he goes on this base, on the rocks there, so it kinda looks like he's, how did I do this thing with something like this? Sort of running up the rock, right? Kinda gives him some height, um, right? So that was pretty cool. And of course, the other one, Mr. Fish, happy freaking Saturday, yes, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that to both you guys. And of course, this one here, I had to paint up a dude in some X1 power armor with the minigun there. This one was kind of a pain because I had to print this guy I think like 3 times, and every time the minigun kept falling off. This one I just sort of glued it back on. Again, this is just some dry brushing with some silvers all over. Then I picked out the ammo hopper there. His eyes are red, and of course, there's this little tube in the back of the helmet that, in every image, um, looks like some sort of like it's got leather covering on it. So I did that, but very basic, very simple, just a little dry brush special. And of course, he goes on the other base. Um, and I don't know who made these bases. I found them on there, but it's cool because this one it's hard to see, but right there, get a little Nuka Cola bottle. So I painted that up red like the Nuka Cola. That's pretty cool, and that's cool. Just thought I'd have some fun with that. I took a picture with I can't remember what it was. I also printed off a little. I think it's like a 2 by 2 square. That's supposed to look like asphalt or some sort of sidewalk with a mini crater in it. And I have some other terrain, Fallout inspired terrain I printed off years ago. I just put together a little sort of diorama saying, "What would you do if a Yaguai got in your settlement?" Right? A lot of fun that with that. Um, yeah, so it's sort of what the year's been like. A bit, a bit all over the place. Like I said, I did get some stuff I wanted done. Other stuff I don't think I collaborated as much as I wanted to. Again, I think part of me there's that whole, I know well, it's not I think I know, part of me still has that whole imposter syndrome, because I wanted to make videos, talking about this and that, but going, someone else has covered it better than I ever will." And there's lots of stuff I avoided just because it's gotten so political and very divisive, and I don't want this channel to be divisive in that fashion. Or at all. I don't. I want it to be a place where people just can come here and have fun and talk about the hobby and 40K and hear me blather on about my what I like and what I don't like. But I try and stay away from the devices, and I'll continue doing that. There's a lot of channels that I used to watch. I don't watch anymore, just because they've gotten divisive, and there's a lot of it's even talking about it is something I don't like to do, but there's a lot in there of if you're not 100% on my side and agree with everything I say, you're the enemy. And there's a lot of that going around right now in every community. Um, but it's hit our community as well too, and I don't want to be part of that. because everybody has different opinions and they're more than welcome to them. So definitely going to be staying away from a lot of that stuff too. But I definitely want to reach out and collaborate some more. I want to get some more solo battles done. I'm been trying to get an actual game in, but it just with 4 kids and other people that want to play games too. They have newborns and kids, so it just is very it's difficult. And we don't really have a place where I live right now. I'd have to go, half an hour, 45 minutes out of town to hit up any major places. Um, and again, a lot of times they have their game nights. It's all weeknights when my kids have extracurriculars or there's something going on. It's been very difficult, but that is something I'm still trying to do. I'm still actively trying to get a game in somewhere. Um, but yeah, again, I don't really have a direction. So if you guys have any questions or want to talk about some, let me know. I just sort of was toying with this probably about an hour and a half ago at this point, going, should I, shouldn't I? I haven't done one in a while. Should I do a live stream? I don't know. Um, but yeah, weirdly enough, the other thing about this year, and I've mentioned a number of times, 3D printing. I have done a ton of it. I've 3D been printed terrain, buildings, presents, actually presents in terms of little ones for the Battleport. And actually, crap, they're not down here upstairs. I printed off 4 uh, presents for my kids. 3D printed them, and I spent some time painting those up. One is a Batman statue for one of my twin boys, a Squirtle for my kids because they love Pokemon, a Kirby, sitting there, that little pink anamorphous blob of suckiness that because one of my kids loves that, and my daughter loves she's gotten sort of like the edgier dark stuff right now, which is kind of worrying, but not in a bad way. But she's a big fan of the Wednesday series, so I was actually printing off a crest for her from the Nevermore Academy. So those are going to be up for the kids on Christmas morning. I printed off a couple. I printed off 3 now. I've only built 2 and fully painted the Thunderbolt fighters. They are very small compared to what the actual mod is, which is okay because I've only if I do finally get them all painted up and I have to print off 2 more flying stands um, for the other 2. I'd use them just for friendly at home games, not actually trying to use them for any sort of tournament because they wouldn't be legal anyways. But I mean, they're small, but they're fun. So I printed that off. The Fallout stuff. Trying to think what else I printed off. Um, oh, this guy right here. Where is he? This cool little monstrosity. So I was bored one day. I know he's hard to see because he's actually prime black. I printed out a whole bunch of Tyranid parts. I got the um, arms here from a what is it? From Gene Stealer, the Brood Lord. I've got the 2 arms here with the bone swords from Warriors, the head from a Brood Lord, the torso of a Hive Tyrant, and the bottom part here the is from a Zone Throat. And I kind of cobbled them all together, did some slicing and some dicing, and ended up with this weird monstrosity that I don't have a name for. I don't know what to call it yet. I've only put a couple. It's hard to see some coats on the carapace armor there, or the not carapace armor, but the carapace there. I think I'm probably gonna paint up in like Leviathan style. Um, it's cool. It's fun. It was fun to put together. It's completely nonsensical, but I really don't care. It's like some sort of floating, like close combat monstrosity. It's pretty big too. It's not super huge. Um, it. I just saw the bits. I said, those will look really cool together. Let's just throw them together, and that's what I did. It actually kind of reminded me back in the old day where you could kind of the creature. Oh God, that was 2004 when that came out. I think. Yeah, I remember. I have one of the chapter approved annual 2004, which I think was also the last one. Had a whole bunch of stuff in there. Had the vehicle creation rules. It had the previews of rules that were coming up at that point. It had the Imperial Guard tank list, the recruit mercenary list. Um, what else did I had? Had the orc, the feral orc list. Had a whole bunch of cool stuff in there. But one of the cool things was like a creature creation um, list there, so you could create your uh, own weird creatures. You could create whoever you wanted. If you want to create, lizards for space marines, or the Eldar exodites to ride upon, or if you wanted to create the catachan or any of the catachanics, the frog, or one of the plants, or the big scorpion thing. What is it? I can't remember what it's called right now. You could do that, right? If you wanted to build um, a whole herd of groks that go across the battlefield and just get in the way, you could do whatever you want. If you want to build enslavers, if you don't know what slavers are, look them up. They're horrifying. You could do that. And so I thought this one, oh man, it'd be so cool to create my own Tyranid monstrosity, something that was sort of like a mix between some of the most terrifying units they have, right? So the Tyranid warrior arms, the slashing and rending claws of a brood lord with the carapace armored body, the big body of a hive tyrant, but it floats across the ground like a one of the zoanthropes. Very very weird and twisted and cool. So I kind of went with that. Um, I have no idea what to call it. I actually put a post up saying, what would you call this thing?" Right? Because they have such weird names. You have like the Hive Tyrant, the Brood Lord. They sort of indicative of what they do. The Tyrant is the leader of the Hive. You have the Brood Lord is the Lord of the brood of gene stealers. All these different weird names. So I'll come up with something cool eventually. Um, but yeah, it's been a year, and I'm very overall, I've been happy, very happy with how this year went. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Whoever's watching out there in the magical world of the YouTubes, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Uh, but this will be the last thing I'll do until the new year, and I'm trying to sort of go through now because work is going to be very very busy starting in January, and it's going to be busy the rest of the year. So I'm trying to basically budget my time right now. Look at schedules, look at what I have time to do, I don't know if I'm gonna be hopping in any painting challenges. I just don't know if I have the time. Um, there's been some life changes here with my wife's back to work, which is nice. So there's just a whole bunch of different things going on. So I'm I don't want to make I've made it before. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, new year, new me, new year, new army thing. I'm not gonna make any predictions or bold um, decisions on that because I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to have time to do. I'm definitely going to keep getting stuff done. I have so many Marines to paint up. I definitely want to get some intercessors now. Definitely need to get some of those. Got to get some blade guard again. One of the things on a complete tangent, well, related tangent. One of the things that I love about whether it's now with the video games, things like Space Marine 2 and Dark Tide, shows like that episode of Secret Level, or the forthcoming Henry Cavill Warhammer show, series, movie, whatever it may end up being. And even going back to the days where a lot of the inspiration came from books and codices and starter sets, and sorry, I got something in my eye, and all the other stuff, was just how inspiring all that stuff can be, right? I haven't gotten Blade Gear before. I should definitely, because they are pretty cool, and I wouldn't mind having some. I still have a ton of characters to get painted up. I got to get Ventress done, bunch of captains and lieutenants, and um, apothecary to do. Gilliman's got to get done, right? So there's lots to do in there. So I'll be doing that over the next year. That is one thing I'll say. Of next year, it's going to be getting my Marines painted. I've kind of been hopping all over the place because it's ooh shiny thing, ooh shiny thing, ooh shiny thing, ooh shiny. I can't do that anymore. I got to focus, get my Marines painted up. I kind of one, if I could set a sort of broad goal for 2025, is getting rid of all my classic, firstborn Marines. The tactical squad I have should probably go. The dreadnought. I mean, I have a Brutalis dread, not Brutalis, Ballistus dreadnought I got to do as well. That'll replace one dreadnought I've got. The tactical squads should go. The Devastator squad should go. Um, and just replace them with sort of the updated. Get some intercessor squads in there. Just replace my Rhino and my Predator with the updated versions, and just stuff like that to try to kind of update the army, make it fit the now. Because I mean, those models are cool, but I think I've been too hesitant to keep going, and having sort of there was that sort of bitterness of having to repaint the army. I've already spent ages painting, but I should probably get it done. Replace certain units with other ones. I put a list up there in one of the groups I'm in. Um, for the longest time, I had a Razorback and a Devastator squad in there. I'm like, what would be better, the Devastator squad and the Razorback? Which is great because the Razorback has the twin link heavy bolters, and the Devastator squad is filled with heavy bolters. A lot of anti infantry going on in there. No, I didn't get rid of the Devastator squad. Sorry, I got rid of the Reaver squad. That's right. There was the Reaver squad is one I got rid of. I was gonna get rid of the Devastator squad, but I kept it because of the anti-infantry. But the Reaver squad, even with the new rules they gave them, which are better than the old ones, they're still not great. Um, and a Razorback, it's great. It can transport smaller units like a Devastator squad and can add some fire support, but it's a little limited because it's heavy bolters. So I thought, oh, what should I do? Should I get rid of those two and say throw a Predator tank in? Because again, the Predator tank I have is one that I salvaged um, from, well, it was a Predator tank originally, but the side sponsons basically deteriorated till I couldn't use anymore. So I pulled them out. I took the top off, spun it around so if I wanted to, either the twin link las cannons or the twin link heavy bolters would actually be on the top and back a little bit. Um, and so I could use this both. So I'm gonna definitely use the Predator tank. Um, I got rid of the Reaver Lieutenant and threw in Lieutenant Titus because he's cool. He's awesome, great at punching stuff in the face. He's sort of given up the standard lethal hits for sustained hits one, so you get more hits through, which is nice. It's good. He'll definitely be going with my assault intercessors because he's just going to make them extra hitty. And while they may not be doing I don't know, it could be a trade off. It's something I'll have to theory hammer and roll some dice on to see what. But he's just really cool. Who doesn't want Lieutenant Titus in your army? But yeah, so 2025 hopefully will be uh, will be a good year for my hobbying. Hope it's a good year for all of us, regardless of where we're hobbying or not. I definitely want to get more characters done. Definitely want to get more of my Marines, Ultramarines done up. All the new stuff I still have. Stern Guard, more Infernus Marines, Terminators, Terminator Captain, Terminator Librarian, Apothecary. What else is there? Lieutenant, Combi Weapon, Gulliman, Ventress. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff there. Ballistus Dreadnought. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Whole bunch of stuff. On top of I'm going to try and print off some 3D print off some more terrain. The one I printed off that I used for the Christmas solo battle there was really cool. It works really well. It's nice and light. It looks very much like the actual standard 40K. Actually, it feels like a lot of the older stuff, not the new stuff, but the older stuff, which I always liked. I liked the older stuff that we had, the very modular, um, bit by bit terrain you could build because it was. I don't know. The new stuff's okay, but I like the fact I could build the train any way I wanted to. I could make a big thing, something small, make it tall, wide, whatever. I know some of the stuff can do that now, but they seem to have sort of made it really standard, which I get when you're trying to make the game balanced and the game, of course, right now leads a bit more heavily towards well, a bit more rather heavily towards the competitive side now. So they want the terrain to sort of be able to put it down and sort of know instantly by looking at it where your boundaries are and stuff like that. So, but what do you guys? What's your big thing for the next year? What's a hobby goal? Let me know. because I know this time of year, I think I don't know about you guys, but I always get a little pensive, right? You think about what came before and what you're happy with, what you regret. Um, there's not much I regret about this year. Wish there was stuff I'd done more of, but I don't regret what I've done. Um, I was definitely surprised by some stuff. The cover of when I did the cover, jeez, there's my brain not working right now. When I did my review of this bad boy here, I I think it's been one of my I think it was my most viewed video so far. Gamers with Coffee, hello, welcome to the chat. How's it going? Merry Christmas and happy holidays, and I hope everything's good with you guys. Um, I mean, that was one of my most viewed videos ever, and I was really happy with that. Lots of great feedback on that. So yeah, I may do more of those. Again, that requires going out and purchasing all that stuff, which I really don't feel like doing. Sorry, I got an itchy leg right now. Um, but yeah, so that's sort of where I'm at right now. Christmas is coming. Oh, they're both there. Hello, hello. You're here too. Awesome. Thanks for dropping in, guys. Just kind of going over what I did this year, and no regrets, no regrets. Um, Lots of cool stuff. Lots of 3D printing. That's surprising. See, I look back on, wow, I 3D printed a lot. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. 3D printed a bunch of terrain. Three Thunderbolt fighters. Um, uh, God, a bunch of stuff, including, as I showed off, I'll show off again some Fallout stuff. I got a Yao Guai here with a cool 40 millimeter base, so he can stand on there and be all roary and angry, roar, grr, arg. And of course, because it's not, war never changes. I printed off another base there. I got to glue these guys on, but I got, oh, damn, I dropped him. Uh, Dude in an XO1 power armor with a minigun there. He'll be going on this base here. This one's got just like a path with a discarded tire, some rock on there, and it's hard to see, but just right there, a little Nuka Cola, uh, a little Nuka Cola bottle, just to have some fun. Definitely more. I definitely want to print off more. I don't know if I want to get into the Fallout. Was it Wasteland Warfare game? What have you? Just another game that I don't have time to learn the rules to, but the models look cool. Glad to hear doing better. I am. This has been a year of ups and downs. I think like most people this year. But I'm trying to get in a better headspace. Last couple months have been testing me for certain. November started off nice. I went with my wife to a family cottage to celebrate our anniversary at the beginning of November, and the everything came back. It was early November. The Monday following that, everything seemed fine. That was November 11th. Wife was taking kids. Two of our oldest are in cadets up here, and they were doing November like Remembrance Day stuff. Time everything got wrapped up, got everybody home. I go downstairs, and my youngest is like, the cat peed on the carpet. I'm like, okay, sorry you stepped it. And my oldest goes in like, there's water all over the floor. Of course, at some point on that Monday, our water heater burst, and so there was a lot of cleanup and all that. Got rid of the old water heater, had to throw some stuff out. Luckily, my hobby stuff seems to have been saved because I'm here and the water heater is like 6, 7 feet right over there. So the water came in here. Unfortunately for them, it unfortunately for me, it seemed to have passed by all my hobby stuff back here. Um, so that kind of happened. That was 3 days of craziness. And then it was, I think, 2 days ago. Um, like a third of my house lost power, just poof. Not sure. Like at the time, I'm like, "What do you mean? Like the power is out? All the lights and the power went out." So, in the downstairs, the hallway light going upstairs, the light in this room, the light in my daughter's room, and the TV room down here, and there's a room behind me where my twin boys sleep. Um, no power. no electricity. Now, I did have some electricity in here because a lot of stuff in here is on separate breakers, but there was no light in here. Um, and so today, on top of painting a bunch of doors just to try and freshen them up, I had to shut the power off to the entire house. And um, this house is old. It's over 40 years old. But for whatever reason, and I don't know if this is still done. I'm not big into construction. All the lights and the power in some of these rooms are in one continuous circuit, so the wires going through everything. And on a really old outlet, one of the wires snapped off. So a third of the house was out power because of one wire. So I took that outlet out, stripped the wires, twisted them up because they were actually like in the back of the outlet, which I hate. I think that's the worst design you could ever have. So I screwed them all in, screwed the ground in, and then turned all the power back in the house and turned the light on, praying to God, and it came on. Yes. So that's what I did today. And so yeah, the last couple months have been a bit of testing. Been waiting for school to end. So the kids, it's just waiting for work. I'm on break now. I don't go back to work till 6. So we're glad you're back home. Well, thank you. Yeah, this is I said at the beginning of this, it's sort of impromptu. So about 2 hours ago, I'm like, should I do one? I did my little video there, the solo battle report. Should I do like another live just to sort of wrap up the year? And why not? Let's do it. So yeah, that was definitely I'm been wanting to, and I have talked to Mythos there about using the same program he uses. I've got in here. I just haven't had a chance to really dive into it and know it well enough to use it properly and to the best of its ability. Because I definitely want to do that. I want it to be better. I want to be able to show stuff. But I thought, "Man, why not? It's almost Christmas. I'm not going to be doing anything else to the new year anyways. So why not just end it with a little bit of fun?" But yeah, so um, and yeah, work's been insanely busy too. So this is a nice little reprieve from that, a little rest and get my mind back on some fun because that's what the season's supposed to be about, right? A lot of the season anyway is supposed to be about fun. Um, but yeah, also still absolutely going ecstatic over Titus because that's a freaking kick-ass model. And I'm really glad they finally gave him rules because it was a little disheartening to go, hey, I have Lieutenant Titus, he's awesome. And then you kind of look through the codex, go, I can't actually legally use him because he doesn't have any weapon options that lieutenants have. So, oh, okay. And of course, Games Workshop finally gave us rules, and he's cool. He's very, very cool. So I like that. Um, so he's cool. And if you guys haven't, go watch the secret level episode of Space Marines because he's in it and he kicks ass. He kicks so much ass. He is a badass. He is the badassiest of badasses. Which is great because maybe he can take over for Cato Sicarius there. I am Cato. You can just go, okay, shut up, Cato. We've got Titus now. He makes us happy. He's a happy, happy guy. Um, the other thing I've been toying with because we've seen this sort of rise of some big sci-fi genres. Obviously, 40K has definitely broken in the mainstream over the last few years. Henry Cavill. I'm pretty sure he broke the internet on at least two separate occasions. Whenever he put up a post on Instagram of a head of a custodes, and people went boom, right? Obviously, we knew he loved The Witcher and Superman, obviously, but to see him actually painting and very well Custodes head, and then there was another picture of him on his private plane. I know private planes, but with a bunch of 40K Black Library books on his desk. Um, right, like oh, he really is into this. So it's definitely gone mainstream. Space Marine 2 being such a massive hit definitely hit the mainstream. And then, of course, Fallout, um, the show getting accolades and being really, really good. Definitely making up for the not so good start that Fallout 76 had. I know Fallout 76 has been around for a few years now, but it's a game that I've been playing a bit more lately. But definitely started off not so well, but it's really good now. But the fact that it's gotten so big, I've seen lots of comparisons. Who would win between Fallout and 40K? So that's an idea, like trying to compare, but it's difficult. I definitely want to do a video seeing telling who I think would win. Um, but it's hard to compare them, right? Because you're trying to compare this huge intergalactic battle universe versus this scrounging and just sort of a just absolutely destroyed singular planet, continent on a singular planet. But it's definitely something I've been looking to, trying to look through the stats and what everybody's come up with what power armor is like. Obviously, I know much better what Space Marine power armor is like because I've been reading about it for decades now and how Space Marines are built. But then obviously, since Fallout 4 came out, and that sort of changed up how power armor functioned and acted in the Fallout universe. It's been a bit different. It's definitely more of an exoskeleton that you hop into, a suit that you're actually getting into. Um, that is really cool, but is still mostly just a suit that you're wearing, not like the Space Marine power. But I'm getting off tangent here, but yeah, definitely something I've been looking into because those two universes are there's a lot of similarities to those two universes. I know it sounds weird, like 40K and Fallout, but it's kind of like the worst timeline for each one, and both show the the parody of our real world and show the hazards of totalitarianism and anti this propaganda and anti that propaganda and what happens when the wrong people are in charge and right. But hey, that's just me. That's something I definitely want to look into in the new year as well. Um, because I've actually got them. I'm looking at the different sizes here, and I don't know about you guys, but to me it works if I kind of put them together. There's Titus in all his glory, and he's massive. And even with this guy's suit on, he's rather scrawny, right? Which kind of makes sense because even with the suit on, you're just a normal human putting on a big suit of armor. Well, what about you guys? Oh, that's good. What was a high point for you guys? Someone chime in here. What was a high point for you guys in this year in terms of hobby? Or hell, even like what was the high point of just your year? Um, I know we've got lots of low points and things that frustrate us and cause us worry and stress. What was a high point? I want to know from you guys. I'll let you guys chime in here. Just looking at some of the other stuff too, because it's a weird year. Hmm. In terms of reading, I picked up the Infinite Divine, which is a amazing book. Definitely give it a read. It is it's great. If you're a Necrons fan, you love it. If you're not a Necrons fan, it's still awesome. It's really funny. There's a lot of cause and effect, and of course, Necrons being Necrons, stuff that goes over thousands and thousands and thousands of years, which was funny, right? It was like reading some of the other books other than just Space Marine stuff because it gives you a perspective of some of these other um, the races out there. And what do you guys think of the another question for you guys? What do you guys think of all the detachments that have been coming out? Because I have, for the most part, I think they've all been great. I know of some of them have been more well received than others, and some of them are people like, oh, that's super overpowered. But each one has been rather fluffy, while still, I think, providing some cool um, stratagems and stuff to keep them effective in actual like games. But they've all been really really fluffy, which has been really really cool. So I know we still have. I think we'll have at least 3 more days. I don't think today was what today. Just trying to think. I think yeah, today was the Atal one that was built around auxiliaries. So basically, a Tal force where the commanders are controlling, are commanding, Stingwings and Kroot So there's a bunch of cool stuff in there to boost them. I think the day before was the Blood Angels, so we got a nice angelic host sort of thing. Um, there's been tons of cool stuff in there. The Space Marine was pretty cool. The generic Space Marine one with librarians and lots of mortal wounds. I was kind of hoping for something a bit more. Maybe it's just me though. I keep being that guy going. I want the Ultramarines to win everything because they're the bestest detachment. Where it's just like Ultramarines win. That's like your army rules. Ultramarines win. Your enhancements. Ultramarines win. Stratagems. Ultramarines win because Ultramarines are the best. Obviously, we've got Titus, but obviously the best. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a space. I think was there a Space Wolf one so far? I'm gonna have to look that up because I cannot remember. If I could spell. Let's see here. I cannot remember if there was a Space Wolf one. I think there might have been, but my brain is failing me at this late hour. Ba, 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 ba. The Grotmus calendar. Okay. No, I don't think there was a Space Marine one. Or sorry, a Space Wolf one. Yeah, there's been Dark Angels, Blood Angels, uh yeah, we have Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Knights, Orcs, Mechanicus, Custodians, Grey Knights. Yeah, Inquisition, Nurgle. Yeah, there was the yeah, I'm just gonna go here, detachments. Yeah, we had Tau, Blood Angels. Yeah, the Angelic Inheritors was the Blood Angels one. The Gene Stealer. I like the Gene Stealer cult one, the final day, because you get that cool little twist that I think up until this point has ignored. What happens when the Gene Stealer cults burst out? They've done what they were designed to do, and then the Nids come down and start eating everybody because that's what they do. I like the fact that um, you can have a certain amount, obviously depending on the size of the game, more actual full on Tyranids in your army, and um, they can feed off of uh, your cultists, right? Yeah. So yeah, so it's the psionic parasitism. So, at the end of your movement phase, each Tyranid synapse unit from your army, you can select one friendly Gene Stealer cult unit, excluding Pure Strain Gene Stealers and Patriarch units, and one friendly Tyranid unit, each within 9 inches and visible to that synapse unit. If you do, Gene Stealer cults from your army suffer D3 plus 1 mortal wounds, and one model in selected Tyranid unit regains up to that many lost wounds until the start of the next movement phase. Each time your model is selected, each time a model in selected Tyranid's unit makes an attack, add one to the hit roll. Um, yeah. So yeah, basically you're getting eaten. They're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Um, and they do have some stuff in there like that is just for like their you have a Gene Stealer called army, but there's a Vanguard Tyrant uh, uh, enhancement just for winged hive tyrants, right? So yeah, they're busy going, "Hey, we're getting eaten," right? There's also a whole bunch of stuff for your demons, lots of cool stuff. But I like that because there's a bunch of stuff on there that's been sort of allies, so you could they did sort of similar thing for the both the Chaos and the Imperial Knights, where you could ally them with certain elements of a Imperial. I think it was Mechanicus for the and Chaos for the other one, um, and then sort of the Eldarian Dark Elder ones were again sort of allowing allies into your. Give me a second here. Where did it go? Yeah, the armored warhost. Wow, armored warhost for the Eldari was pretty cool. So you get your vehicles, get a nice boost in there, and then yeah, Drukari had the Reaper's Wager, which allowed you to um, uh, have the Harlequins in there, and depending on who is winning the wager, um, either your Drukari or your Harlequins get a bonus at that particular point, which is pretty cool. The orcs have their tactical brigade, which I think is hilarious. Yeah, it's really cool. I thought this was really cool. The Dark Angels have their own. I like the fact that the Death Watch finally got an index again. That's sort of a that was sort of, I believe, a not a good oversight when they got rid of the other one. Like, no one wants Death Watch. You wearing Death Watch players going, I built an army. Can you not take it away from me? And so obviously, finally, we got one back. So that's cool. So Death Watch players can rejoice. Um, like, it was funny when it disappeared. I went, well, there was a while there where Death Watch was never a thing, ever. Um, I remember back in Old White Dwarfs, back in third edition, where I'm glad they brought DW. Which DW is that, man? It's I'm blanking. DW back to oh, Deathwing? Is that what you're talking about? But I remember going back and oh, Death Watch, yes. Sorry, my brain, and I just mentioned it. That's my brain working right now. You're watching a man's brain fail horribly. Enjoy. Yeah, no. I'm glad they brought them back and pumped them up and made the units make a bit more sense. I remember back in the day when in third edition everybody wanted Death Watch, and they would pop up in the comic books they had, the Inferno comic book magazine. They were in they were mentioned in codices and all that, but they never had any rules for them ever. And then so they kind of threw some in the chapter approved articles, I think, in the White Dwarfs, where you could take a unit, and they had Death Watch. They had metal Death Watch um, shoulder pads, so you could throw them on your Space Marines. Go, oh, he was in the Death Watch, or you could build a unit. They showed you how to paint and build a unit of Death Watch, and they had Death Watch at one point. Some Death Watch gear. So you had Death Watch. Those cool bolters they have, a heavy bolter. Um, but they never really had like an actual rules or and then back in the day, chapter proof was something that your opponent had to agree with. So if you wanted to build an army based around chapter proof, it was one of those ones where your opponent said no, you weren't playing it, which is unfortunate. But yeah, there was a unit they had. What was it? The heavy bolter had the suspensors, like suspension or something like that. They have a specific name for it, so you could move and shoot with heavy bolter back in third edition, which was back in the day, heavy weapons. If you moved, you couldn't shoot. Which never made sense for me with Space Marines because they're Space Marines. But yeah, a whole bunch of cool stuff. They had all the Inferno bolts and all the special ammunition, but it was like one page of rules. It was very specific, and this is your Death Watch. That's it. There was like 10 of them for this many points, and that was it. There was no Watch Masters, none of this other stuff. This is your unit, so you could make a bunch of them, but again, back in those days, it was sort of a chapter. It was cool, but it was never fully legal. If you went to tournaments, a lot of tournaments would say no to it. Some would say yes. I don't know. I should try and find the Death Watch 2004 annual I have. I mentioned earlier that was really cool. It's so many weird things in there. The stuff to build monsters and the big beasts of the 40K universe. The creature, no, sorry, the vehicle building articles were in there. Um, what else? I mentioned before there was the Imperial Guard tank army in there, so you could build a whole army of just tanks. Again, this is like now it's easy to do, but back in the day, it was much more difficult. There was the feral orc list in there, which I guess the Beast Boys have sort of taken over for now, and there was a recruit mercenary list, which again you can do now. For the longest time, you couldn't, which is unfortunate, and a lot of cool rules in there. I always wanted to build one, but I never really got around to it, and probably never will. But yeah, it's been a week. I'm glad it's over. Today was the first day off. Um, I'm off for the next 2 weeks too, so I'm gonna go back till the 6th, which is nice. So take some time off, relax, recharge the batteries, enjoy Christmas, enjoy the atmosphere. I've been having a lot of fun with that. Getting the house ready for Christmas. So just a few more days, right? I get the urge to try Death Watch. It is a cool looking list. The index, I'm gonna pull that index up. The index does look cool. And again, this is one of the things that I will hopefully in the future get the program working there, Mythos. Thank you very much for introducing to me, and I'm sorry I haven't where is it? I haven't put more effort, unfortunately, into getting it all figured out so I can do it. Where's the Death Watch? Index Death Watch, because it is cool, right? Um, yeah, the kill teams, special rule there, detachment rules, stratagems. But yeah, it's cool to see the Watchmaster come back. And it's cool. I'm glad they brought Artemis. I don't know why they got rid of Artemis. That was one character I never realized. I mean, I can understand getting rid of like Chaplain Cassius because it was a weird unit because it's like a unit from the past, right? It's before he was run over by Carnifex and became basically a cyborg. Your Death Watch veterans, your Terminator squads, your Corvus Black Star, your Talon Strike kill team, all the jump packs, the Fortis kill team. So it's everybody in your in all the new stuff, but it's the intercessors and all that. You got your Indomitor kill team, which I believe is all heavy intercessors. Um, so here, three Melta rifles. Your Spectrus kill team, which looks like it's guys in Phobos armor. Yeah, infiltrators. Yeah, lots of infiltrator guys. It's a cool list. I think it's awesome, and I like the fact that it does include some cool stuff in there. I wish the Corvus Black Star was available to more armies. That is a wicked looking model. I like it. It was cool to see it in Space Marine too. This fortunately it didn't survive very long, but it's cool to see. And I'm glad they kept the veterans because that's the I think most people will have for their armies. It's good to keep them back. And the Watchmaster, glad to have him back. But yeah, Artemis, I'm glad they brought him back. It was always found it weird that he just disappeared. Right? I'm still kind of wondering why they got rid of um, what's his name, the Inquisitor there. I'll remember his name in a minute for the Inquisition. Crap, what's his name? I'll remember it. But it's a relatively new model, and the fact they just said, "Okay, he's Legends now," just kind of threw me the wrong way. I'm like, okay, I can understand making maybe taking certain characters. Yeah, I should get a Corvus. It's an awesome looking model. Um, but Eisenhorn, that's it. They made Eisenhorn Legends. I'm not 100% sure why. In fact, I've kind of always like done like the head tilt when they came up with that Adeptus Sororitas character Legends. I know they made that orc character Legends. I think he may have actually been added now. I'm not sure, but I don't know why you'd create characters that are supposed to be set in the now and go, okay, by the way, it's Legends. It's a cool unit, right? I mean, Titus is not Legends. He is a full on. I was actually looking at the app because I use the free version of it. But if I go to Space Marines, so here and I go to Codex Space Marines and I go to data sheets, he is in there. I'm going to look up Lieutenant Titus. Where are you? Yeah, he's in there. Lieutenant Phobos Armor, Reaver Armor, Titus, and Combi Weapon. So he's there. He's a full on member of that unit. I just want to see something now because this has updated. See what the Adepta if they've added that character. Um, don't remember what her name is. I mean, because we have Astrid, Thurga, and Agatha Dolan, Demon Fuge. I don't know if they have Junith. She's been there. Morven Val's there, but she's already been there. Saint Celestine. Yeah, no, they don't. Still haven't had her. They have a character, but straight to Legends. So I don't know. I always wonder why they do that. I get maybe they don't want it to become Hero Hammer, or maybe they made rules that might be a bit too much in terms of competitive play. Um, I don't know. I don't play competitively, obviously, but I think if you're going to come up with some cool characters to then sort of make it so that people probably won't buy it because they do play more competitively now than I think ever before in the hobby. I don't know. I think you should just throw them out there and let people have fun with it. Um, just keep trying to keep the game balanced. Which, of course, with the amount of armies and detachments and rules and all the other stuff, I think it's made it almost impossible for this game to ever be 100% fully balanced. Um, so I kind of on tangents here, but I'm just trying to get things out, have some fun talk. But yeah, I don't think the game will ever be 100% balanced. It will never will. They've Games Workshop has made that almost impossible from my perspective. There's just so many rules, so many combinations, so many units with their own rules that play well with other units' rules. They keep changing the rules all the time. This Grotmus thing has been great. Just tons of detachments, or not detachments, yeah, detachments, tons of detachments, some indexes, some major changes here and there. Um, but that's even more rules to try and get your head around and try and keep balanced to try and make sure that while you're putting this out, it isn't making one army way too powerful or weakening other armies, or it's a incredibly difficult thing to do. And now obviously looking at the future, you kind of have to try and figure out what way things are going to go. I know I've already heard the rumblings of 11th edition, because there's always people look way too far ahead. Just enjoy the edition now, have fun with it. Um, but will we see the same thing? Right? You'll be picking up the next codex, and then of course we're gonna have quarterly and semi-annual FAQs and updates and balance this and meta watches and all that, which is cool. But from my perspective, I'm hoping that the next edition is a massive rules drop. I would love to just see it be very basic. Um, I think, especially with eighth edition, I think there's a problem and I say this as a Space Marine player, and now this isn't to be like, oh my god, they ruined Space Marines, but eighth edition, the way the game worked really, really well beforehand, and the fact they had to come up with so many rules to make the poster boys of the game viable definitely made me okay. You guys messed up somewhere. Something didn't go the way you thought it would. Because when the poster boys are suddenly taking the chin from everybody, and 8th was good. 8th was basic, but it was not the best put together. 10th is probably it's there's too much in 10th. There's just so much in 10th edition. And it's like it's I was talking with a colleague of mine, and because he used to play as well. I was like, "What's it like now?" I'm like, "It's confusing now." Because not only do you have to know an army rule, so if it takes Space Marines, I have to know Oath of the Moment, which by the way has changed. And then depending on the detachment I take, I have to now know the Oath of the Moment, the army-wide rule. I have to know the detachment rules, and then there's different enhancements for each detachment. So I have to remember. I have to keep in mind the enhancement rules that I'm going to use, and then there's all the stratagems that detachment has. So there's the army rule, detachment rule, enhancement stratagems. Then there's the rules for all my units, right? So there's I've got five things already. Then there's different units that have their own rules. And that's on top of the main rules. There's just so much to remember, even with the having cards and all. There's just so much to remember. And they change everything, right? Like we were mentioning earlier, intercessors got a new rule, right? There's some big changes, right? So if I go to Space Marines here, this is Space Marines. All right, I've got Oath of the Moment, right? So I get to re-roll the hit roll as before. It says if your arm, this is the new thing. If your army does not include one or more units from Black Templars, Blood Angels, Death, all that much, you get to add one to the rune rolls as well. So that's they've it's not a ton, but on its own. But of course, I go into the data sheets or I go into the detachments. So if I want to play, I don't know, the let's see here. What's a good one? Firestorm Assault Force. Well, now I have to remember that not only do I get to re-roll, I get to hit roll, and I get to add +1 to the rune roll. Well, now all my weapons are assault, and I add 1 +1 to strength within 12 inches. And then I get to the data sheets, and I want my aggressor squad. So now I have to remember that I can re-roll the wound or the hit. Although depending on if I'm using the flamestorm gauntlets, I'm not really rolling anything here. But I get add 1 +1 to the wound, and then with their ability. Um, right now, they're also I get to add +1 to strength if I'm within that range, and if I'm firing at the closest unit because of their close quarter firing power, the arm penetration's up by 1, and that's just that 1 unit. And I got to it's just there's so much to remember. Having the cards does help, but it's just so much. I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't really played a game. Maybe I'm making like a mountain out of a molehill, but it just seems like a lot. I remember, back in the day, and I feel so old when I said, "Back in my day, we only had one army rule and we loved it." Man shakes fist at cloud. Um, but and they shall know no fear was epic because it perfectly spelled out what made Space Marines different from everybody else. The fact that you couldn't run them down, the fact that they wouldn't break that easily. It was a fantastic rule that said, "This is the Space Marines. You can attack them, like wash over them like a tide, and they will hold the line and they will stay, right?" Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this, like the all the rules. There's just too many of them now, right? And I got to give kudos to the writers and developers because they've come up with a lot of really cool rules for each unit that really speak to that unit, right? If you're looking at the aggressor squad, it's in their name, so they get up close. They're hitting hard, hitting close. You are going to be cutting through more armor. You look at the assault intercessor squad, their abilities, right? Their targeted intercession, right? I get to re-roll a roll of 1 if each I'm attacking a target unit, I get to re-roll that that roll of 1. If you're within objective mark, I get to re-roll the whole wound because my one goal with those guys is to remove you from the objective. And they do it really well with the heavy bolt pistols, the Astartes chainsword. They are meant for one thing only, and that's removing something from somewhere. Right? So all the rules are great. A lot of the rules, they are fluffy, they work well. There's just way too many of them. But that's just me. That's just me, right? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna say it again, guys. Titus is just awesome. Like, get a look at this guy. The detail in the smile is fantastic. I love his pose. He's about to just lay the smacketh down on somebody. Hardcore. It's a nice smile to paint up. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely. I know about you, but obviously I said it before. And for those of you who weren't here when I was talking earlier, I'm definitely not be doing a new year, new army thing. That's definitely not something for me to do. But are you guys going to be trying to do a whole new year, new army sort of thing? I don't know. Has any of the detachments caught your eye that, oh man, I got to play that army now because that detachment's awesome. Um, I for one, I was like I said, I'm not doing it, but I was eyeing up a Chaos Demons one because those attachments are cool. And I'm like, oh man, I should just do like the corn one. Be super easy to paint up. Just have a big cornate army. That attachment's cool. I don't know. But then I went, wait, I have way too many Space Marines to paint up. So that's not happening. That's not happening. Yeah. But just let me know, guys. What's on your thing to do? I want to hear from you guys. I've been blabbing for enough here. What's your thing? What are you going to be doing? Let me know. Come on, guys. Let me know. I want answers. Oh, the other thing is, I'm definitely also going to be spending some of this next year cleaning out my bits boxes, going through stuff. I've already actually posted up the. Uh, oh yeah, I still have a Demon Combat Patrol to put together at some point. There you go. I'm assuming that's the Cornate one with the Bloodletters, the Blood Crushers, the Crude Hound or Crude Hounds, the Cornate Hounds, and then what's his name? That character. I can't remember its character's name right now. Yep. What's he called again? Because my brain no worky. Where did you go? Demons, Chaos Demons. The Butchers of Hyporia. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the Blood Master. The Blood Master. Look at the best name. Such a rock and roll. Skull Taker is definitely a character. He's not the one in there in the start. They have the Blood Master. I guess he's like a step below the Skull Taker, right? He's Skull Taker's like the character one version of him, right? I'm actually looking right now. It's pretty cool. But yes, you've got the Bloodletters, Blood Crushers, Flesh Hounds. That's it. And then yes, the Bloodletters are pretty cool. Good old Bloodletters with their bloodlettering. No, I don't have a good memory. I have a phone that I can look up on the on the. I'm over my I'm in my 40s now, so my memory is not so good as it used to be. Right? I'm looking it up now because that's what I was looking at too. I'm like, I've painted up a bunch of Cornate demons before for my Games Workshop days back in the early 2000s when we were creating armies for the now I think defunct Games Day stuff. I know it's different now because they go to all the conventions, but they had their own Games Day thing, and we got we got our store I was at was given the we had to get a whole bunch of bloodletters done, and that was fun. There was a lot to paint on them. I mean, they're not super high detailed, but there's enough musculature and all these little scales and the horns and the weapons. You wanted to kind of make them, and they gave us how they wanted painted, so we did that up. But that was cool. But that was back in the day. I don't know. I'm just gonna do. I have that's here data sheets, not for you. I want index data sheets. Let's see here. Of course, he's all at the bottom because they couldn't do that up. Where are you, Scarbrand? Skull Taker. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's a bit different from because he's got the Slayer sword, which is devastating wounds, precision, strength 6, 6 attacks, APS 2. That's pretty nasty. What abilities does he have? The Shadow of Chaos, Lord of Decapitation. Ouch, gives devastating wounds to whoever he's with. And you get to reroll hit roll, and you can reroll wound roll um, against target characters. And then you destroy a character, you get a CP because, claiming skulls for the Skull Lord and all that. Yes, no good memory. Use computer, use phone, make brain no work. All right, guys. Well, it is now 11, almost 11:30. I think I'm going to call this a night. I sincerely hope every one of you has a wonderful Christmas. I hope you get a bunch of cool hobby stuff. I hope you enjoy time with your family. I hope it's safe. And thank you for coming in. This was kind of by the seat of my pants. It was like 9 o'clock. I'm like, should I? Shouldn't I? Maybe. I don't know. But thank you very much. Great show. Thank you very much, Mythos. I hope you get a wonderful Christmas, a happy New Year, whatever you do or do not celebrate. I hope you do it with gusto. Have some turkey or ham or whatever. Sit back, relax. Definitely watch the um, the secret level episode if you have not of with the Space Marines, which is freaking awesome. What the other ones? The Mega Man one's cool too, and there's one about Pac-Man, which completely twists everything about Pac-Man. I'm glad I did one too. Thank you very much, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Crazy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. I don't know what else to say. Um, but I'll see you guys in the new year, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will definitely see you on the other side, guys. Bye.